what about, what's been your biggest surprise since you franchised your company?
It's weird. Like how many people are interested in it?
Hmm?
Like specifically my brand, I even just body waxing. We have, but then like it's sad to me that people like chicken out. Like they get so far in the process and then they're like, I can't. And so
Mm.
it's just weird. Like I've never gone into something like halfway. I'm all or nothing. So for me, like it's surprising how many people are like, they're like, okay, like I'm ready for site selection and we're gonna come out there and sign, and then they're like, we're not gonna make it. I'm like, what? Like how I don't, but I don't know. All of it's surprising me. Every day something surprises me. Like a cool A-list celebrity posting about us that they're wearing our skincare, and I'm like, oh hey, where did you even get that? Because they were in Vegas or something, and they had their assistant come grab it. Or it's just I don't know. I'm like a little kid still. Like it's all exciting. This hot mess because I'm so passionate about my brand. I just start talking.
No, no, that's wonderful, Stacey. I going back to your biggest surprise in franchising. Look, most people don't go into business, right? And they do get scared. And you have to keep in mind that that's to your benefit that somebody doesn't go all the way to the end because, if you force them through and they're not all in, they're not going to make it. It
I
has to be
was
their
surprised
idea.
how many people wanted to change things. Like, oh, well, can I add tanning? No. Can I add lashes? No. Like that surprised me when we first started that people wanted to have the birthday suit waxing, but also have like a laser hair removal or a facial part. I'm like, no, like all we do is wax. We don't do teeth whitening. We don't do anal bleaching. We don't do laser hair removal. We wax. And we are really, really good at what we do. We wax. That's it. And I don't want to expand into anything else. But I was very surprised how many people wanted to add on.
Hmm.
And that's like going to McDonald's and asking if you can add on Chinese food on the menu. That part didn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, it's important that you know what your brand is and you clearly know that you're the luxury, right? Waxing spa business,
Affordable luxury.
affordable luxury.
That's how we classify it, affordable luxury, because you don't need it, but you want it. So we've kept our price point some days painfully low, but it's still low enough that it's never going to be something where someone has to go, can I afford it this month? It's
Mhm.
always something that they can just say, no big deal. Like they can afford it. And because we're so good at what we do, and because there's no high pressure sales from my team, they're not working on a you have to sell this much skincare, you have to sell this much add on. Our clients trust our waxers that when they say, hey, maybe you want to try this next, they trust them that they're suggesting it because it's best for them, not because they're being forced to.
Yeah, no, and you're staying committed to who you are to as a brand is going to be challenging as you continue to grow. You're always going to have franchisees that are going to want to add on services, but you have to stay committed to exactly what your company does, right? To your core. What's the investment range of your business?
We start out on the low end is about 114. It's like 113.7 or something like that.
Hmm.
And it goes up to 446. And the reason this is such a huge number is because if you were to walk in, like one of my locations, my corporate locations, was an old podiatrist office. And it had been closed for 2 years. We walked in, flooring, paint, beds, everything. We did it for $70,000 for open. So, I mean, granted, we knew what not to spend money on, so we were able to do it for a lot less. But at the same time, it's not unheard of to be able to open for $100,000, $113,000, because we one have buying power with we are not an affiliate for anyone. We get zero kickbacks for anything you purchase, but like we have the buying power for your treatment beds, and we provide you with your wax pots, and we provide you with your training wax, and we provide you with this giant opening skincare order. So, really, if you find that spot that's pre-built out and all you need is paint and flooring, you're going to go in there and just be ready so fast. But then if you're in downtown Manhattan and you find an old warehouse that needs a full build out, it's a gray shell space and it needs everything, you're going to spend a little bit more money. One, your lease is going to be a lot more, but your construction costs, everything's more in Manhattan, obviously. Same thing with Boston or LA. But, so that's where that high end comes from. You could also decide that you want individual computers in each room and you want this luxury furniture and this high end lobby area. So you have that range because you really can choose where you want to land.
Okay, that makes sense. Stacey, so, you've got, let's see, we got the 2 franchise operating units right now. We got 2 company owned. Is your strategy to continue just opening franchise locations, or are you thinking of maybe adding company owned as a strategy? What are you thinking?
Both. We would love to open 1 or 2 more company owned this year, but every time we start to talk about it, like just last month, we had 4 people that were pretty far down the pipeline. I said, you know what, I can't go forward with a company owned because I need to give all my attention to this right now.
Right.
Be 100% available. So every time I think about opening a corporate location, I get this awesome onslaught of people that are super interested. So it's just going to be finding that balance where I have, whether it's they're open, they're running, and then I can do it, or maybe I just won't open any more corporate locations for another year and just see where we go. So, but ideally, I would love to open 6 or 7 more franchises within the next year to 18 months. We're ready for it. The industry is ready. The communities are ready. We're a great brand with a great product and a great owner. Great people. We're just a lot of fun, and there's no real seriousness. And I get criticized for that all the time. Like, you're not taking it seriously enough. I'm like, I love what I do. Like, I literally am living my passion, my career. I went to school for this. I've been doing it for 20 years. You don't do something for 20 years that you hate, right, unless you're not financially sunk into it. Like, I could have gone off and worked on a TV show as a makeup artist. Like, I love what I do. I'm just really good at it. I love people. I love talking. I love the social game. And I love, like, when you see a 12-year-old girl who's getting picked on at school because she has facial hair, and you wax her monobrow, you wax her lip, and you wax her chin, whatever. And all of a sudden she looks in that mirror and cries because she knows she's not going to get picked on tomorrow. It is moving. Like, people don't think that small sometimes, but it is an emotional thing to see a kid all of a sudden have this monster confidence because of something I did for them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the awesomeness of it. Or like seeing someone who's maybe plus size, who they're beautiful women. And for some reason, people in this industry treat them second class. Sometimes, prices starting at, don't do that. So to see these plus size women come in, and they always ask, like, is it more because I'm bigger? I'm like, no, now I'm going to comp your service because you're insecure,
Oh my gosh.
To give them that confidence where they feel like I'm not being judged because I weigh 300 pounds. Like, they're not looking at me. They're not charging me more because I'm bigger. Like, to see someone's confidence come out like that over a Brazilian wax, it's really that awesome. Like, you don't realize the little gestures that make a big difference. Stacey, and people don't think that body waxing can do that.
Right. Stacey, you love what you do, and you're changing people's lives for the better. Does it get any better than that?
Buy a franchise, you'll find out.
Well, that leads me to the next question. So if someone was looking at buying a franchise and they're doing their research, what's like a really important piece of advice that you give folks when they're looking at the birthday suit as a franchise opportunity? There's
a lot of weird stigmas that go with Brazilian waxing and the waxing industry. It tends to get sexualized a lot, and it's not. It is so clinical that it's almost awkward sometimes. And people just need to get past that. There is no, there's nothing sexual happening. It's not a dirty service. I need to, disrupt this industry and make people realize that Brazilian waxing is normal. I don't care like who you are. It's okay if you want one. It's okay if you get one. It's okay to own a spa that does that. So just getting past that stigma of the sexual aspect of it is the biggest hurdle sometimes. Because again, people think, well, it's a Brazilian. Like, and do you question your OB? Like, no, it's the same. And just understand that it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like, coming in the next 6-7 months, believe it or not, Halloween is one of our busiest weeks of the year, which is so weird.
Okay. Like, I don't want to know why.
I don't either, but it's just, the industry is awesome, and it's growing, and it's booming, and just be ready for that wild ride that you're going to have these days where the waiting list is just overwhelming. And then you're going to have days like January 5th where you're going,
right.
I got this. But the 2 weeks before that, you were sold out, open to close for 6 days straight. So
sure.
It's just awesome.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.